Hi guys, good morning and good evening. I hope you are able to hear me. Can anyone please confirm? Okay, perfect. So, in the last session, we talked about conditional split transformation and filter transformation. If you wanted to restrict the data based on the condition, we can use this filter or conditional split transformation. And did you get a chance to do this exercise? Is this completed? I gave this exercise, and apart from that, there is one more exercise I gave. These 3 exercises I have given. Did you get a chance to complete them? So please respond. Did you complete this or need some time? Okay. So do you have any issues to complete them? Even yesterday was no session, right? Okay. So please, everyone has to do it. Okay. So very soon I'm going to give one complete session. I'm going to ask you to do in the live itself. I'll give a task and you have to do it in the live. Okay, so I don't say when it is, but this week I'm going to take one session. I'll give a task and everyone has to do the task. Okay, so you have to join on every day with laptop. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about derived column transformation. So derived column transformation is used to derive the data. Derived column transformation is used to derive the data based on your requirement. So how do we know the requirement is? Definitely you will be having requirement document or you will be having a use cases. Okay, so based on that we are going to do it. How do we know there is a data derived? How do we know we need to create a column? So when the moment you see the requirement, you can feel how exactly it is going to be derived. In this particular case, derived column transformation uses to create a new columns by writing expressions based on the requirement. So writing expressions we already come across in many places at the activities level, as well as even filter and conditional split transformation also we have used to write the expressions. So expression builder we have used to do it. Okay, so derived column transformation is used to add a new columns or is used to create a new columns by writing the expressions. We already know if you wanted to write the expression, definitely we can use the columns to write the expressions. We can use the functions to write the expressions, variables, parameters, operators, all those things we can use to write the expressions. So how do we know there is a data deriving, or how do we know we need to use derived column transformation? If any of the column is not getting the data from the data source. If any of the column is not getting the data from the data source, then we can say it is having the data derived. Let's say, for example, I have an employee number here and I have an employee number here. So it's a direct matching. That means for this particular column, you need to concentrate on the target. So my target column is employee number and my source column is also employee number. That means you are getting the data for this particular column directly from the data source. And employee name is there, and here also have an employee name. Employee name also is getting directly from the data source. For this column, for job, we are getting a job. And for MGR, we are getting data from the MGR column. And for hire date, we have a hire date column to get it. And I have a salary column, and I have also salary in the source. I have a commission column in the target, and I have a commission in the source. I have a department number and I have a department number in the source. But if I observe here, I have a height column, but height column is not getting from the data source. So you have to write an expression. You have to define the condition. You have to define the expression to get the solution for this column. So that is what I'm saying. If any of the column is not getting the data from the data source, make sure we have to use the derived column to define that particular column. That is what I'm saying here. So height is one of the column. So like this in real time, you will be having more number of columns. For every column, there will be a business definition. You have to ask them, you have to get the business definition. So then only you can define it. So that is what I'm talking. Okay, so if you want to define this height, then definitely we need to know the definition of this. So if you observe this use case, create a data flow to move the data from source to target and make sure to load the data as per this particular requirement. If employee is working in the department number 10 and give 10% height, how can you define this height? Depends on your salary. You are going to define it. If you are working with the department number 10% of height from your salary. Okay, so 10%. Let's say if you have 1,000 salary, then 10% of 1,000 is 100, right? So 100 will be given. Okay, so 100 will be the height. And if you are working in the department number 20, then give a 20% height. And if you are not working either in department number 10 or department number 20, then give a 30% height. Okay, so there is a conditional based calculation. Conditional based definition, we are having it. If you remember, we already know how we can use the conditional statements. We already come across it. If function, if you remember, if we have used if activity. So same functionality wise, same to same even in this particular case also. You are going to write an if condition. You are going to write with the if function. So how we can define that, I'm going to take it through now. I hope you understand the business requirement, how exactly it is there. So this point you just see here. If any of the column is not getting the data from the data source, if any of the column is not getting the data from the data source, then we can use a derived column transformation to derive. We can use derived column transformation to derive it. Now, let's go to here. I'm going to create a resource group. Okay. Let me create a separate resource group. First, I need to have a storage account. Bhaskar ADLS Gen 2 is my storage account name. Locally redundant LRS. Let's go to next. Enable hierarchical namespace, that we already know it. Let's create it. Duplicate this space. Let's go to data factories. Let's create. Resource group is, oh my God. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Let's create a separate resource group. I supposed to create a separate resource group. Bhaskar Dev. Area of Bhaskar 123. Central India. Review plus create. I don't need to create this account. Let me remove it here. Which account I have removed? Okay. I don't want to create here. I supposed to create in this particular resource group because I'm just going to remove them once this practice is completed. Let's go for next. So I'm just taking a different resource group. Review plus create. Let's open the Data Factory. Launch the Data Factory Studio. I need to start this data flow, but before that, let me create a link services. Is that completed? Not yet. What's going on? Otherwise, we'll create a one more storage account. Let me create again. It's taking time. Okay, so one of them is created. Let's go to resource. So I'll use this Bhaskar ADLS account for source because this is something happened for ADLS generate is still going on. Okay, so let's go to the container. Data files is the containers. I'm just going to have a input folder here. Add a directory called input directory. Add one more directory called output directory. Now let's go back to here. I'm just going to use the same Azure integration runtime. Let's add a new link service. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Let's say link service underscore Bhaskar ADLS. Let's take a subscription. Storage account is Bhaskar ADLS I'm taking. Let's make a test connection and hit on create. Go to your author. Let's go and create a new data flow. Let's say df underscore derived column. Add the source. SRC employee. Let's go for inline, and I'm just going to take a delimited text. So let me upload the file into this directory. Employee.csv file. Let's upload. So here I'm just going to take a link service that we just created, and once it's selected, let's go to the source options and browse the file. So where exactly your file is available, you have to browse it. That we already know it. Let's go for input. Select employee.csv file. And first as a header. So I'm just selecting first as a header. And quote characters is no double quote characters. And let's go to the projection. You have to import the schema, but it is not. Somewhere you have to check 3 more things. Connection we have taken. Where is this? Something is missed. Perfect. I forgot to start this. Now the session is started. If I see here now, now you can see there is a import schema is enabled. Let's import it. Hit on import. So you need to have an idea about what column and what data type it is having. So here employee number is fine, name is fine, job is fine, but hire date is a short data type, it's a number, and hire date is date, salary is double, and commission also is a double, and department number is short, that is fine. So let's close this. Why it is not showing my data preview? Okay, I'll do one thing. Let me re-edit again. For some reason it is not. Even this look and feel also, I feel this is changed. Let me add again. SRC employee. Let's take an inline and delimited text. Let's take a link service and go to your options. You need to browse the file, and you can also directly enter the path of the file. Let's take employee.csv, and first is the header. So in this particular case, I don't have a code characters. I'm just going to say, let's go to the projection and import the scheme. So this is a short data type, same thing that I'm just repeating. So commission is a double data type. Let's close this. Now we are able to see the data here. And when you try to load the data into the target, so this is my target, but this column is not available, hike is not available. You have to define with derived column transformation. Let's add derived column. You can just leave it as it is. So here I'm just going to give hike. The expression you can build here. So there is a function called if function. If this condition is satisfied, then it is going to be returned true. Again, one more if function I'm going to write. So if inside if I'm going to write it. If inside if I'm going to write. So this is the function, right? Let me take this. And column name is based on department number, we're going to do it. Okay. So I'm just taking this. We're going to give it. I gave is 10%. So 10% means there's a column called salary multiplied 0.1 is the 10%. So 10% of the salary you are going to get when you multiply with 0.1, comma, if this condition is failed, then one more if function how to write it. So in that case, the condition is if department number equals to 20, then my person. So I'm just going to say salary multiplied by 0.2. Salary multiplied by 0.2 is for department number 20. So if it is failed, if both conditions are failed, then it is a 30%. That is what I'm saying. If the employee is working in the department number 10, give 10% hike. If the employee is working in the department number 20, give 10% hike. Else give 30% hike. So I'm going to say here salary 30%. Close this if function and close your outer if function also. So this is how you need to write the expression. So if is used to write the expression based on condition. So if this condition is satisfied, this will be written. If it is failed, then it will go to the another function. And here I have one more condition. If this is satisfied, then it will go for this. If this is failed and if this is failed, ultimately it will go to 30%. Let's take a copy of this expression and paste it in the data factory. I'm sorry guys, it was disconnected. Okay, so I have taken this department, sync employee, the destination I have taken. And here I'm just going to take a inline. So link services same, I'm just going to take delimited text. And link services ADLS. And go to your settings. Here you need to browse the file and just directly typing the values here. Under data files, I have a output folder. Inside the output folder, I wanted to keep employee underscore hike. So this is another folder it is going to have it. And first as a header I wanted to take and double quotes, just avoid that. That's all. I'm just going to close this. Now, if you want to run this data flow, then definitely you need to have a pipeline. Let's go to new pipeline. PL underscore derived column. Let's take a data flow here. That's all. Let's debug it. So in the input, I have a file. Output folder is created. Inside output folder, I have a apply.csv. Inside that, I'm having it. This files. Okay, so if you go and see the data for this, you can have a hike. So 10% of this department number is 20. And since it is a 20% of 800 is 160. And if you go for 10, you can say 1250 is there. And 10% is 125. Okay. So that is 0.1 multiplied by salary. So if you wanted to create any calculation, if you have a definition, then you can do it easily. Okay, so that is about this derived column transformation. So I wanted to give one task to you just to try from your side. Just keep some sample data in the Excel the way I have here. Just keep that incident number and postal code. And here I have a incident number 1 and postal code is 1085. And second, some number is there. Third, some number. And fourth, some number is there. They wanted to say a postal code separate. Okay, so they have to bring this as it is. At the same time, this postal code is having an extension. They wanted to see the separate column called extension. So for first record, there is no extension. So you have to keep that null. And here I have a 1833 is the extension. So 1833 here. And 1845 is the extension. And here you can keep 1845. And 51825 is the extension here. That you need to bring it. So just try to do with the derived column transformation. So this is a task for you. So this is one of the real-time requirement for one of the candidate. Recently we got it. Okay, so just try to do it. How you can handle it. Whatever the way you wanted to do it, you can do, but I need the output is like this. And the next transformation, very frequently we are going to use at the time of a data transformation, that is select transformation. So select transformation used to do the three different activities, three different tasks that we are going to do with the help of select transformation. If my business requirement demands to take only required columns, then I'm going to use this select transformation to take only required columns. Or if my business requirement demands to rename the columns, then I can rename the columns. Or if my business requirement demands to reorder the columns, I can reorder the columns with the help of select transformation. That means by using this transformation, we can do selecting required columns, renaming of the columns, and reordering of the columns are going to be done with the help of select transformation. So here I'm going to take you through one of them, but rest of the two activities I'm going to show you as part of SCD type 1 and SCD type 2 implementations. Okay, so in that particular situations, we are going to come across it. So here, create a data flow to load the data into the target with required columns. I have all the columns, the same data source. But my target is required employee number, employee name, job, department number, and salary. So this many columns only I wanted to take it. So first use case, I'm just doing it. So if my business requirement is demanding to take only required columns, especially when you read the data from the file system, if your file system is having too many columns and if your target is expecting few of the columns, then definitely we are going to use this transformation right after the source to reduce the number of columns. Okay, so how exactly we are going to do that I'm going to show you here. Let's go to data flow, a new data flow, df underscore select required columns. Let's take a add source, src employee. Let's take a inline, delimited text, and take a link service. Go to your options, browse the file. Let's go to input folder, browse that file. And this first row is a header. So you need to make sure that first row is a header, somewhere it is. And no code characters are available for this. Let's go to projection to import the schema. So when you read the data from the file system, you cannot restrict the number of columns directly with the source. So after the source only can do it. Let me close this. And after this source, right after the source, recommended to use select transformation to restrict the number of columns. So here you can see I have a feasibilities here. In order to remove the columns, you can see the delete symbol here. So depends on your requirement, you can keep. I need an employee number and employee name, and job is required. After job, MGR is not required. Hire date is not required. And then department number is required, salary is required. Commission is not required. Total 5 columns. 5 columns are there. So whatever the columns you don't need to have it, you can simply take out them. So that means you're reducing the size of the data in the pipeline. So that improves the performance. So this will be recommended to use right after the source if you want to reduce the number of columns. Of course, in the middle of the data flow also you can come across this particular transformation, especially when we go for SCD type 1 and type 2, we are going to come across in the middle of the data flow also. Now I have a required columns for this. Let's keep this data into the target, that is sync employee. Let's take a inline, delimited text. Let's take a ADLS here and go to your settings. Data files is the container, and inside that I wanted to keep it into the output employee underscore select. So that is what I'm having a folder name here. Let's say code characters is no code characters, and first is having the header. Let's close this. Now create a pipeline for this. Tail underscore select. Let's take the data flow and take your data flow name. Let's debug it. If you go and see the target is employee underscore select. Inside this, I have a data for only required columns. In the data flow itself, we have seen while debugging. Okay, so the same output is going to get into this place also. Okay, so before going to the next transformation, I wanted to give a few tasks to you. Just try from your side. One more task I wanted to give for derived column transformation. Design a data flow to get the data as per the following requirement. So I'm just going to take the same to same, but there is a slight change that I wanted to do it. So this one you have to do from your side. I don't need this entire column. I don't need this commission column. And apart from that, here I'm going to add one new columns here. Here. Something is happening to my network. So here I need a semester and quarter and month name. I wanted to bring it. So just give me a moment. Just something like this, I wanted to get it. Employee number, name, job, hire date, year, semester, quarter, month, name I need, and then salary, hike is not required, and department number. So I'll keep that in this particular place. Okay, so once it is available, this notepad is not getting allowed to access it. So this is how I wanted to bring it. So when I export this PDF file, I'll keep this data and just try to bring the year from this hire date, semester from this hire date, quarter from this hire date, and month name from this hire date. So this is one use case. And another use case I wanted to make you to do it is create a data flow to show names, I mean to say employee names in lowercase characters if the name is having less than 6 characters. So if the name is having less than 6 characters, else show in uppercase characters. So this is one more use case. So 2 use cases I just gave in here. It's completely gone. Just give a moment. I'll re-log into this Zoom. Okay, so finally it came. So I'm just taking this copy of these columns and pasting here. That's all. And one more use case is this one. So that when I export this into the PDF, you can have all the things at one place. This is another use case. Okay, so try to do that. I gave this transformation, you have to use it to do it. Okay, so this is about this. And the next transformation I'm going to take you through is aggregate transformation. So basically, we don't recommend it to do the data aggregation with the data flow. Okay, so I feel this is going to take longer time to do it. So in my experience, we didn't do any data aggregation with a data flow. We used a Databricks, Azure Databricks we have used, Azure Databricks ADB. So ADB we have used it. So ADB means Azure Databricks. So we are going to talk about this very soon. Azure Databricks is going to be much more faster than your data flow. So even companies are looking, instead of doing the transformation with data flow, still we have many projects and in many places we are using Azure Databricks in order to transform the data. So data flow newly came into the picture, into the market. Okay, so this is not required to write any code. But even here, if you have a little more compute, then you can also do the things with this. But you have to understand how we can do it. Okay. But I feel this aggregate transformation is going to take little more time. I may not completely show this practically, the output of this aggregate transformation. You can try from your side, but I'll show you how we can define the data flow. Aggregate transformation uses to summarize the data based on a group by with the help of aggregate functions. We can apply the group by operation. When you have a group by, definitely we're going to use the aggregate functions. So when you use the aggregate functions, make sure to have a group by. You have to select the group by column and aggregate columns. So it is used to summarize the data. Let's say here I have a employee.csv file, which is having employee level data, whereas in my target, I wanted to see the total salary by job. So if you wanted to see the total salary by job, then we have to aggregate it. In SQL, if you remember, we came across the SQL, something like this, select, and let's say a job, and sum of salary as salary or anything from table name, that is employee, and group by we have used it. If you remember, group by job. So here also the same thing that you can do it here. The only thing is you are doing with the data factory. Okay, so if you have a good cluster, then it takes less time since we are using a small cluster, the default cluster, and don't go for any other cluster guys if you are using paid subscription. So that's very, very dangerous. And once you practice this data flow, make sure to stop the data flow debug. So otherwise, you're going to be charged like anything. Okay, if you miss it, and if you have a custom cluster or if you have a large cluster, they're going to be charged. Okay, so they're very dangerous. Now let me go here. I'm just going to create a new data flow with aggregate transformation. Let's say df underscore aggregate. SRC employee. Inline. Delimited text. Let's take a link service. Go to your options, browse the file, or you can type directly here, data files, input. Inside this, I have a employee.csv. Now first write a header for this, and no code characters. Let's go to the projection and import the scheme. I'm just going to have this. So I need only job and salary column. I don't need rest of the columns, so I don't need to change the data types of the columns. Let's close this. And right after this, I'm going to use the select transformation because I need only 2 columns only. You can take a select transformation, remove your employee number, employee name. I need a job and salary. Rest of all the columns you can remove it. Let's close this. The output of this transformation, we are going to give it to aggregate transform. Let's take an aggregate. So here we need to specify the group by column. The group by column is the job column. And aggregates we need to specify. As many aggregates as you want, you can specify here. Let's take a salary. The same, I'm just replacing that. And here we can write an expression. We have a function called sum. You can use the sum function and you can use the salary column inside that. That's all. Let's save and finish and close this. So I'm having the data here itself, how exactly it is available. Okay, so let me create a data pipeline for this, a new pipeline. Pipeline is PL underscore aggregate. Let's take the data flow and this is. It's not adding. I just remove that aggregate pipeline. Once this is published, then I will add them. Okay, df underscore aggregate. No sync. Okay, let's go to df aggregate. So it is saying no sync is available. I think I have not provided the sync. Yes, that is true. How it is missed. Sync is not available for this. Sync employee. Let's take an inline and delimited. Let's take a link service and go to your settings. Now you can say data files. Inside data files is output folder. Inside output folder, employee underscore AGGR. And first is a header. No double quote characters. Let's close this. Now let's create a pipeline for this. A new pipeline. Pair underscore aggregate. So I wanted to call this by using this data flow. It's not allowing me to keep this data flow now. Okay, I'll do one thing. Let's close this and reopen the data factory. Let's select the subscription and data factory name. Continue. It's taking time to open my data factory. Let's go here. I already having the data flow. So I'm just going to create a new pipeline. Data flow, PL underscore aggregate. So if you remember just now that one pop-up came, so saying that the data flow debug is still inactive. Let's expand this and drag and drop this data flow activity and take this aggregate and publish this. Let me hit on debug. So basically this data flow, I mean this aggregate when you use, it takes some time to get the output. They have a multiple transformations, and one more thing you can feel the difference is when you have a multiple data flows one by one. Because every time it is going to start one compute engine and then it is going to start the data flow. Okay, so if you have a multiple transformations or multiple data flow activities within the pipeline, only to complete the first data flow takes time, but rest of them is going to take less time. So we are going to come across this kind of situation in the real time, in the project when I'm going to talk, so that you can see the differences. But here, since it is having only one, it will take little more time. And especially when you have a aggregate transformation, it takes some time. And if you wanted to do it faster, then you can change this complete, but they are very dangerous. If you're having this behind the scene, if it is running, then it will be difficult. And one more thing is, do not schedule the data flows. I mean to say, when you schedule a pipeline, if that pipeline is having a data flow, if you forget about if you forget about remove the data factory, then every day whenever the schedule starts, it's going to run it. So I have seen a few kind of people, they got even billed more than 1 lakh also. Okay, so it's very dangerous. When you have it, make sure even to stop this data flow debug so that we can avoid charges. Okay, so while it is running, let me take a questions if you have a questions from your side. Unmute yourself and ask a question. Any question, guys? So have you completed all the practice from the beginning of the data flow? Data flow, or it is a data factory.
So, yeah, Bhaskar, this is Venkat.
Yeah, Venkat.
Okay, so while we are doing practice, mostly we can disable this data flow, right? Data flow debug, then we can avoid extra charge.
After completion of the practice, then better to take it out.
Yeah, and also better to do not use aggregate function as well.
Yes. It takes some time, right? So unnecessarily you need to waste it. Yeah. I already shown how we can read the data from the Parquet file. Okay, so Krishna, just go through the previous sessions. If I'm correct, I have shown how we can read data from the Parquet file. So complete all the practice, and any of the day in this week, I'm going to take a completely, I'll give a task and you have to do in the live only. Okay, so just be prepared. I'm not going to say on what day it is. On any day, I'm going to do it.
So tomorrow is Ramjan, right? Is it holiday or
that's what I'm not having information. Okay, so admin team, can anyone respond if there is any holiday on tomorrow? One is there from the admin team. Not sure. Yesterday was a holiday. Even I got to know in the morning only. So did you get any message for yesterday's?
No.
Yes, I don't. I text already.
Yeah, we text.
For tomorrow or what it is?
Today, yesterday.
Yesterday.
Late he responded while I connected to
Yeah, even when I try to connect, it is not allowed me
Yes.
because I'm not the host, right? So I cannot start it.
host is not
Yeah,
active.
that time only I got to know today is holiday. For me, it's a working day only. For my company.
Hi, Sam. Sunil here.
Yes, Sunil.
Yeah, session number 11 or 27th video record was uploaded wrong. So I already informed the Arif sir, but they are not responding properly.
Okay, I'll inform them. Which date it is wrongly uploaded?
27th.
27th. Okay. I'll ask him because I don't have any control on it.
Okay.
I have a control only on the material side.
Yeah, I have already informed.
Okay, I'll also inform from my side.
Yes.
Bhaskar, material in the sense, it's
Yeah,
only right, the
classroom.
Google
Classroom.
Classroom.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I think there are a few frames are missing. Actually, yesterday I consolidated all the list of frames.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I have frame 1, I think then after frame 2, 3, 4, some frames are missing.
Three is missing. Four,
On which
from
day?
4 it is.
In which day it is? So starting we will be having three things like what we can say. PPT or something I may be used to show it.
Mm. 25 is there. 26. After frame 1, frame 4 is there. Okay.
When the batch is started?
13th
13th.
of March.
This framework, maybe all of them will be there. We can just go through that. Because at one set after payments only I have given, right? So I think it will be all of them, but I'll check. Maybe there is a chances to miss also. Frame 1 and after that I gave, what is that? Frame 4. So I'll check that from my side. Okay, so there is a chances to miss also. Frame 2 and frame 3. Let me check now itself. Yes, it was missed. I'll keep that. I'll keep that today. Still it is going on. And this will go for some time. Okay, so you can try from your side. Just one time you just try. And I don't recommend you to run also. Because within the data flow itself, we can see the output of this, how exactly it is going to get. So we don't need to run this pipeline because same to same output it is going to get. Okay, so in the next session, I'm going to talk about join transformations. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, coming to that requirement, right? So from the high date we can get here. Semester, how we can get it? And which
You
basis?
try. You try.
I mean to say requirement.
I need like a H1, H2. From Jan to June, it is H1.
Okay, like quarter was. Okay.
Yeah.
So
First 2 quarters is H1. Second 2 quarters is H2.
okay, gotcha.
Calendar year.
Okay. And coming to my subscription, right? Day before yesterday only, I took free subscription. Okay, so I did few practices. When I will get a notification like my free subscription is going to be end, will I get
You'll
it?
get a mail.
Email.
You'll get a
Email.
mail. Email you'll get.
Okay, but without my confirmation, it
No,
will not be
they-
chargeable, right?
No chargeable.
Okay.
Once you convert with your hand, then only it will be treated as paid subscription.
Okay. So in the free subscription, I mean, it's unlimited usage or there will be some
Some
limited?
amount will be there, right? Till that amount completed, you can access it.
Okay. Okay. Where we can see that limited amount?
You
can
will
see
get
the
notification.
Oh,
Even
email
in the
notification.
even here notifications also you can see how much amount is available. Every day if you practice, if you open second day, it will show notification. A pop-up will come how much amount is available in your account. Or you can go to the subscription and you can see.
And Bhaskar, it's a generic thing only. It's not about
Yes.
this thing. Can't we create any WhatsApp group for all of us? So if we have any doubts, we can communicate in that group, right? Like in office.
You have to check with admin team only. I don't have any I don't have anything to say about for that.
Yeah, we have not your email ID. So maybe when I check with RF, he has given your email.
You can check with
Through-
RF. You can
through
check with
email
RF.
only, we can able to contact you.
So email.
Yeah, RF has given us email, so we can send email. Any
You can
doubts
send an
or
email. You can send an email. I may take some time to respond
yeah,
because even I will be having back-to-back classes and I'm working professional as well. But I'll respond.
Bhaskar, I think better if he can give an update for tomorrow's class. Is it whether it is a holiday or not?
then if you check with RF only. RF
Yeah.
not.
Even for
Oh, I think
me,
he is
also
going
need
to
to check
connect with you, right? So that's why I'm asking you only.
Okay, I'll check with them and if there is a holiday, I'll keep it in a Google room. You'll get a mail. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so here you can find that amount, how much amount it is getting. For this month, I'm getting more 3,000. It is going to be crossed. In a couple of days, the new cycle is going to be started. Okay, and I'm keeping few of the services even continuously. Like if I go to my resource, I have multiple resources here. I'm not removing them. Okay, so if I don't remove it, there will be a slight difference charges, but you can have it. If it is a free trial, you can have it. You can start continuing practice. Okay, then I'm stopping here and we'll see on tomorrow if there is a class. Else, I'll send an message in the chat.
Hold
Okay.
on, sir. So whatever we are doing in Data Factory, so that
Mhm.
same functionality we can do in Databricks with code and
Yes.
Python.
Yes, you're right. We are going to come across it.
Databricks is demandable.
Databricks is
3 to 4
Databricks
years.
is demand.
Yeah,
Demand at the same time. I feel Databricks is easy.
okay, you need to learn Python and I try
Python is
to
not
attend.
Python is not required. If you have a basic knowledge of the Python is more enough. Okay, so
Okay.
you can feel that if you understand the concepts in the data factory, then
Okay.
you can bring the same kind of requirement in the data factory. Then we can do it.
And I have one question, sir.
Yes.
So, like Python, you can also conduct separate classes like SQL or in
There will be not like that many number of sessions. There will be 2 or 3 sessions of the Python basics will be there. So whatever I require, that I'm going to take you through. So whatever it is not required, I'm not going to touch because we are here for more on the Databricks. So Databricks is going to use the PySpark and Python style. Okay, so how we can declare the variables, how we can have a list, how we can read the data from the list. Those kind of things I'm going to take you through, and how we can create a custom functions.
Okay, sir. For Databricks, how many days it will take? Around.
It takes 1 month. It takes 25 days around. It will take, and later we will be having a project. So total it will go more 2 months.
Okay, so I think Databricks more concepts we have in the database.
Yeah, and that it is going to be coding. And one project will be there. It will take, if I take an every day, at least 1 week it will go.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that we have, I wanted to bring you to like, it's kind of real time. Okay. So that you can feel, the content may be like the project stuff may not be like your real time, but the way that we are going to do is you feel like it's a real time. I'm going to have a user stories. I'm going to have a sprints. Okay. So tasks will be there. So
Yeah.
you can feel like real time. If you are already working, you will be
Yeah.
having an idea, right? You will be having a sprint.
Yeah,
So-
it's good.
Yeah, so you can get all those kind of terms. And CI/CD also I'm going to take you through. Okay, so first initially I thought of taking out. Basically we don't do it, but I wanted to take you through that CI/CD also, how we can
Yeah, I believe
move the code
Databricks.
from,
Yeah. So loading the data using Databricks, we might require some CI/CD pipelines, right?
yeah, so from lower environment to higher environment, how we can move the code, that I'm going to take you through. But that, if you know that, that is fine, but it's not required to work in real time. You may not get a chance, but if at all, if you get a chance, then you can be ready to do it.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So most of the things I'm going to take you through, and interview questions, I'm going to give the only questions. I don't give the answers. Again, I'm repeating, and I wanted to give the concept first. So if you understand the concept, then the question, whatever the question is coming in any direction, you can give the answer. So that I'm expecting, but I'll give some, I'll collect from the questions from the different people. So I'll give those questions, but always recommended to have a good concept.
Okay, questions are enough, sir. We'll prepare our own note. So questions are enough for us, sir.
You can prepare your own answers for that, but I'll give 3 questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, then I'm stopping here. We'll see in the next session. Thank you for joining.
Thank